Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up now. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up now.
Hello, everyone, and happy pre-capitalism. I mean pre-Turkey Day. Yes, we're about to enter capitalism season. Now, I love turkey. I love turkey, but the day after turkey is when the capitalism really kicks in. But good news, you can get a head start because we have new products. I was busy last night, and you know, we always start with some kind of tangent to, you know, get the tangents out of the way. And I made 2 new products. Now, first of all, for those of you who are like myself, huge garlic bread fans, we have a garlic bread shirt now. And I'll get you close up in a second, but I just want to flash that up there. But the second one is this one. Because I've been seeing, you know, a lot of different shirts about, you know, protect the dolls or protect trans kids. And that's all great. That's all wonderful. But I wanted like one united message. And so what I did was I made this shirt. And now we can do close-ups here on the Ember store, betterthanember.com, all the way at the right. There's the store. And so we'll do this one first. Protect joy. Because we mean it when we say all of us. So yeah, that's there. And this is like made from heavyweight material. I don't know what that means, but the manufacturer tells me that it's stronger and technically 1,000% more bulletproof than the lightweight material, which is not even a little. But this one is garlic bread. If you want to have a good time, wink, wink. Now, the description says we're all sex positive. Stay hydrated, but there are things some of us like more. Garlic bread. So, yeah, lore for the community kind of thing. And honestly, it really is becoming a thing, which I very much enjoy. So, yeah, I should put up the thingy for that too. So it's because when I put these on the screen, not only does it make it scannable, but it also puts a link on the video, which is handy. But also, reminder, there's a calendar. Again, amazing gift, but this one you can give to even your religious friends. Well, the garlic bread you could probably give to your religious friends too, but whatever. This one you could give to your religious friends because it is an entire calendar of my own award-winning photography. Every single photo won some kind of award somewhere. So hooray. There's that. And last but not least, we apparently have a surprise presence of presents. Kelly King, the atheist queen of Detroit, has joined us. Hello, Kelly. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm
good.
surviving. I'm actually plotting and scheming. In fact, I'm fixing to do an adult Bible study with Dr. J. Bundy,
Oh, yeah.
probably on Black Friday.
I saw that.
Yeah, it
That's-
should be quite enlightening because when I say adult Bible study, I mean adult. Wink, wink. So that should be interesting. But Dr. J still has to give me a time so I can. But everything's set to go. As soon as I get confirmation, I'll schedule it. So stay tuned on that. Lil, what have you been up to?
Not much. Mainly recovering from a migraine this week. So I was kind of out of action for a few days. But other than that, not a whole lot.
Well, I
did get something in the mail though.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Is it shirt shaped?
Mm-hmm.
That's another one of our spectacular items. That is St. Paul's biblically accurate crop. It reads, "You are cordially invited to shut the fuck up." And that's a direct quote from St. Paul, by the way, as presented by one apologist's interpretation of his denomination's choice of a certain translation of a copy of etc. But it's definitely a quote from St. Paul.
What the hell?
Kip says hi too.
Hello, Pep. Kip's gonna eat all our
Hello, sweetheart.
Yeah, it's actually cold here this morning, and so I've got all three of them right here. They're all trying to
one does. Faux show. All right. Well, hello to everyone joining us today. Lovely to see you all. Thank you for coming. Reminder, we are going to be off tomorrow because I have an IRL thing to do at the same time the show would normally be. I'm going to do a member stream later, but the regular show is on pause until Friday. But do join us for Black Friday because we're going to learn about the original fucking Black Friday for Feminist Friday. You may be surprised. It'll be fun. I see so many folks here. I can't say hi to everybody. Lovely to see you all. Lilable Trades getting us started with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Lil. Before I even hit the damn buttons, Lil was already in there. And Lil says, "Obey your non-AI overlords, Ember, Lil, and Kelly." Hell yeah. Incidentally,
overladies.
Kelly, have you noticed something different about your emoji? Kelly's coughing right now. She'll get back to us in a minute.
Yeah, I had to cough. I'm trying to see. Hold on. I haven't even looked yet. Let me see. Did you change it to the one that our favorite Lou had picked for me?
Uh-huh.
Oh, let me see. Oh, I love it.
I'm constantly secretly updating things.
Yeah, she sent it when she put it in that little chat. I was hoping that you saw it.
I was like, I almost posted. So we have a chat just for the Java and Jugs hosts, and Lil put this modified version of Kelly in the chat, and I was like, yoink. And I almost said something, but I'm like, nah, we'll just do it. And then it'll be there. Yeah.
I figured you would.
Pirate.
I appreciate you guys for thinking about me.
Hell yeah. I mean, we all need self-confidence. It's true. And it's especially difficult in this age of crazy trolls on the internet and just internet in general. But like, when I say I'm all about building community, I mean that. Like, everybody, Kelly and I had met briefly once in Kentucky, and then bloop, we're doing shows together,
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I was a little down. You guys a little down. I kind of talked about it in the chat, and you guys are so uplifting and everything. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
we try.
These ladies are
and
awesome.
and we all need it ourselves sometimes too. I mean, how often have just in the few months we've known each other, how often have I gone to one of you two like, oh, the person did a thing, and like it. It's life.
Hey, I would love to meet you too, Rainbow. Yeah. Because I'm always the one who's always looking out for other people.
I had
it's kind of hard for me to be that other person that needs help.
All right. So today we do. Holy shit, we're done with the tangents just about on time. Now, by done with the tangents, I mean the pre-show tangents. There's always going to be tangents, but I digress. This is our normal actual start time. Go us, I guess. Because we did start slightly early because Chris ended slightly early. And I try to make the countdown start at the same time Chris goes off because it's easier for the audience. And yeah, things and stuff and things. So yeah. Anyhow, let's bring our video up for the day. It's still on the website, but I'll switch it over. It'll be fine. No, I didn't want to unpause you. How dare you? How dare you? Get that on screen and then make my monster grow like Rita Repulsa. Poor Rita. 10,000 years and she gets one season to take over the earth and then she gets booted. Fucking ridiculous. Oh well. At least she got to be in the movie.
Poor Rita. Bringing about my childhood there. Jeez.
I'm so fucking random. It's fine. It's fine.
I love it.
It's on my mind because I saw a clip of an interview with what's his name? Brian Yost. I'm so bad with celebrities. He played the Blue Ranger in the original cast. He left the show because they wouldn't stop being homophobic. Like they were constantly being blatantly discriminatory at him. And he was like, after several months, like I just couldn't. No, I'm like, no, bye. And I'm like, valid. So that's why it's running around my head. I'm like, I can see that, but whatever. Anyway, quantum artificial supercomputer something. Let's find out if it's secretly God.
First, let me start by saying I'm not comparing God to artificial superintelligence. And if I am, let me be struck down by lightning. But I do think it makes an incredible analogy, like a parable, one we never...
Possibly a minor detail. A little quibble, you might say. But an analogy is a comparison. That's how that works. You can't say I'm not comparing apples to oranges. I'm just drawing an analogy of how they're both, round fruit things. Dude.
had before. And it's given me a whole new perspective on God. So bear with me a little bit here, and I hope this blows your mind as it blew my mind. Now, first, let me start by saying I am not an expert in artificial superintelligence or quantum computing, and I'm not trying to prove anything here.
Hey, good news, friend. No one is. It's literally not a thing humans can do yet.
I'm just trying to get the wheels turning a little bit. and hopefully unlock some new perspectives. Then at the end, I'm just going to pose a series of questions or scenarios that
We're just asking questions. And also Jesus. I'm not saying it is God, but it might be God. It might be. It could be.
Might be.
Yeah. If a generative AI program draws a picture that resembles Jesus, does it not also resemble the Prophet Muhammad? Because they dressed similarly, had similar dating habits, and lived in the same region of the world, and therefore their complexion was probably very similar. I mean, if you had real Jesus and real Muhammad side by side, could you actually tell them apart? Aside from the holes in the hands. I'm not sure I could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope will help us all answer some of those questions we all have about faith and God. Okay, I think all of us by now probably have some thoughts on artificial intelligence and where that all could go. And I'm sure we've all at least heard.
I love it. I love it. Well played. Well played. The jump cut to that freaking, it's not Terminator, but it's definitely pointing at Terminator. Amazing. Oh, goodness.
Heard of quantum computing and could sort of imagine the implications of bringing these two things together. Now, in my very limited understanding of quantum computing,
I don't know that you can have AI quantum computing because AI depends on algorithms that run in a linear order, and quantum computing depends on things being in superposition and therefore cannot run in a linear order. I don't think you could. I don't know they'd be compatible. I don't think it works that way. Because people have this idea that quantum computing processes faster. It doesn't. It can do multiple processes simultaneously, but they still take the same speed as the original. So putting an AI in a quantum computer, it doesn't mean it processes any faster. It means it runs all the possible processes at once. But if you want the output, you still have to wait through everything to go through the hardware, So it doesn't actually help with anything AI can do, but whatever.
it works something like this. Imagine any problem as a maze. Now, by today's standards, our most advanced supercomputers would very rapidly go through each path one at a time until it finds the right way through, like trial and error. Now, a quantum computer tries every single scenario at once, not only finding the right way through, but also by eliminating all.
That is an interesting model because that's not a correct way to model any possible problem, but that is a valid way to model superpositional computing. And it touches on something fascinating from quantum physics in that there's a mathematical formula called the zeta function, which we do not have time to get into, but TLDR, it can be used to eliminate false variable solutions in complicated equations. And quantum, how to phrase this in a very simple way. Basically, it's like hitting a zillion light switches at the same time, and only the one with the connected circuit actually connects. Whether they're connected or not, they all get hit, but only the one with the connected circuit actually turns the light on. And then that is the connected circuit. And everything else, even though they were all tried at the same time, they vanish into not happeningness. They don't actualize. They don't become real because it's not just about trying possibilities. It's about alternate outcomes. And the way the zeta function works is it takes positive outcomes and negative outcomes that negate each other. And it keeps negating and negating and negating. This is how the wave function collapses, is everything gets negated except the one thing left over. And that's what really happens. That's how reality gets determined through the quantum wave function. Again, assuming our models of how quantum physics works are correct. And that's a whole lot of ifs, because while we can make amazingly accurate predictions with quantum models, there's a lot to suspect in the underlying assumptions. So, but yeah, that's how the math works out. Is it kind of is like that. It tries everything at once, and whatever works is what's the thing that doesn't get canceled out.
Errors, redundancies, and inefficiencies, all while training itself as to how to solve the next maze better. Now just imagine applying this to any social, engineering, scientific, or medical problem. Now these quantum superintelligences feast on data, and everything is data.
Why is medical so much more complicated than science? Don't they kind of go hand in hand?
Well, I guess it depends on what you mean. When he was just like throwing out different subjects. So medicine does depend on science, but it also involves other things. Like, it's not just the knowledge of how blood vessels work, but the actual hands-on skill of being able to slice them without killing the patient, kind of thing. So that it's like it's an applied science. Like you can do medical research, but you're still a scientist. But if you're practicing medicine, you're applying the science. You could still do research that way, but it's a different thing. It's like mechanical engineering versus classical physics. Like they're the same thing, but the one is doing things and the one is learning things. And there is crossover, but they're still separate fields. Would be my guess.
Yeah, but the animation implied that medical is a lot harder than science. And it's just like, depends on the science.
It really does. Science, I understand why we didn't even have a word for that until like the 18th century, because it's so many vastly different areas of study. It makes sense to have a term to apply for people who study the sciences as we now understand them. But a geologist and a biologist do not have a lot of overlapping areas of expertise. There isn't the sciences. There's individual fields of study that sometimes talk to each other. Like, hey, I found this cool rock that looks like a bone. Could it be a bone? Oh, yes, it's a bone. Which rock layer did you find it in? Because I need to know how old this is. That sort of thing. It's amazing.
If data were like every single molecule in the history of the entire universe. Now, I've heard it been said that theoretically, these quantum superintelligences could hold and process all of that data in its mind at once. Now, this is...
No. No. Again, quantum computing just means it can run every possible process that it can possibly run at the same time. It's not an infinite number by any stretch of the imagination, and it's definitely not all data in the universe. You would need all matter in the universe to do that. Maybe the universe itself is a quantum computer holding all the data in the universe. I mean, if you take yourself outside of the time perspective, wrap your mind around this. If you could move outside of the universe in the way people talk about gods and shit existing outside of reality, to you, all of time would look like a single event happening in superposition. All these different slices of time would appear to be the same time to you. Neat, huh? That may be how superposition actually works. It's so difficult to research because we're completely in just math only at this point. Because reaching those levels of smallness is super, super difficult. But it's entirely possible when, string theory, fascinating theory, wonderful, beautiful mathematics and equations and shit, but no practical result to it. But it could well be that what we consider to be those compactified dimensions might be other time dimensions that we can't access because we're inside this one. But if we left this one and went to another one, then we might see time from an entirely different perspective, if it's temporal. We don't know, but it's a fun idea to think about.
Really crazy, but I've even heard it been said that these quantum superintelligences will eventually run out of data. So in other words...
Heart doctor is just a flesh plumber. Dentist is a tooth carpenter. I'm so glad you dropped by, Trees.
But I mean, isn't that what Trump's trying to do? Trying to belittle people's professions, that they're less than what they really are. I mean, not doctors in a sense, but like a nurse practitioner who has just as much medical experience and a training as an actual doctor. But I don't know. That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's just a fuck over people. It's
yeah, I know.
Big Thing Flying Wayne says quantum means magic, right? It's true. It's sorcery. I mean, from a mathematical perspective, it kind of is sorcery, but yeah. Radiated Sith says, just bear in mind the answer is 42. Deep Thought already found that for us. It is known. It is asked and answered. The galaxy doth rejoice.
All the data we've ever created in the history of humanity won't be enough. So they'll start creating their own data by running trillions of scenarios in its head.
Oh, I see where he's going. He's going to be like, so all the data in the universe isn't enough to achieve the proper level of super awareness or whatever. So it's going to start creating new sets of data, because fabricating data will definitely help you generate real solutions, but never mind. Effectively, it's saying it's going to create new universes, and that's what makes it like a god. And our universe is probably some other computer's data set that it made up. We're not even generative AI. We're just data storage.
We're real life Sims.
Yes. Which would explain a lot.
Which makes me scared, considering the fact of how I treat my Sims.
You're still, I don't know how you treat your Sims, but I guarantee you're still more moral than any god in any holy book.
Yeah, I have an entire graveyard that I populate with different ghosts just because I can.
Hell yeah. No, I've never actually played Sims. I've watched some videos of it, and sometimes they're quite hilarious, but I'm very poor, and I've never spent the money on the game. I understand that when you plant someone's urn in the house they died in, you get a ghost. But
yes,
if you plant the urn somewhere else, does the ghost go where the urn is? Or
it does
anywhere?
It does on it pops up in the graveyard. The only place I've ever put them is either in my house or in the graveyard. But I have a graveyard on my lot with, I think last time I checked, and I've had this game running for ages, I've got like 10 generations of ghosts that I made all die in various ways. So I have every ghost possible, and my game barely runs.
Right. The ghost color is based on how they die, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's cool because like the ghosts have like different effects and stuff. There's some ghosts that look kind of similar with color, but if you look at them, like they have different effects going on. And the more expansion packs you have, the more ways you can die, the cooler ghost you get. There's one that you get where you got erased out of time, which is pretty cool.
You get a what?
You get erased out of time.
But you have a ghost?
You go through time. Yeah.
If you've been erased, how do you have a ghost?
I don't know, but you do.
Okay, so now I'm very curious. I understand that weird characters can reproduce. Like sometimes you can have a ghost have a baby with an alien. If two ghosts reproduce, first of all, is it a ghost baby? And second, which color is it?
It picks randomly. It usually picks one of the parents' ghosts, but sometimes you'll get a random one. I also have a mod on mine that if you have any two occult races, which is pretty much anything that's not human, there will be, you can have a mix of both, or one or the other, or they can be completely human, which the mod is a lot of fun to mess with, but it can mess up your game if you're not careful.
I warn y'all folks, we're never done with tangents around here. That's why we have a shirt.
Ever.
And an emoji. And you can get the emoji if you're, a member, which is a great way to support the channel. And you get the emojis. And also, match level, 99 cents a month, that's just emojis. But if you go with one of the 2 higher levels, if you're a Cinder, you get your David the credits. But at medium level and top level, you get access to all the member exclusive videos and also the member live streams, like I'm doing tomorrow because of Turkey Day, for example. Just throwing that out there. I will make this channel make enough money I can fucking eat. Damn it. We will get there. The question is whether we get there before I completely run out of money. But we're working on it, folks. We're working on it. Share this video with your friends, because either they will like it or they will hate it. And either way, that's great for the channel. I'd love to see, more people in the community. It'd make my day. But haters stopping by and ragefully engaging with the content is also good for the algorithm. So yeah. Wade says, I thought tangents only occurred on warm beaches. Near the equator. Jester says, fake news. I've seen you talk about tangents. It's been known to happen. Right-handed Sith says, tangents are okay. Just steer clear of the tangerine gents. That's good advice for everyone. That man is not safe for anyone to be around. I mean, even his best friends, he fucking kills off. Like, holy shit. Anyhow, magic AIs that are like gods.
With all the data it already has to learn new things and unlock new realms of knowledge that we could never possibly know. Okay, now obviously this is amazing and terrifying at the same time. And this could...
Is it? Why? Tell us why.
Go for good or for evil. Nobody really knows. Now let's just say, and humor me here for a second, okay? That these quantum superintelligence...
I enjoy that we're talking about how amazing quantum supercomputers are, and he reveals his brain to be clockwork. Just gears. Like the most P-Tech form of computation we currently have access to, except possibly an abacus. Like, my goodness. Oh, look, another puppy.
This is Pixie.
I'm starting to think people come here for the doggos. But hey, that's okay.
I do have 3 of them. I have plenty to go around.
Yeah, stick around for a while. It won't be long before one of them shows up,
To be fair, I started with this one. And then my boys found out that she liked me best. And so they got Daisy. And then we got kept. So somehow I ended up with 3 dogs. Didn't mean to.
Yeah, my kids get mad because like Sugar likes to be around me more.
Well,
we will attack them if they, like, we be playing around and she'll come and try to attack them if they mess with me.
Something that right-hand sis said. She said fur babies. The funny thing about that is I was talking to a friend of mine. I was on the phone when I was shopping at Walmart getting dog food, and I said something about me being a total dog mom. I got griped at saying pets aren't children, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, lady, I got 2 kids. Trust me, I know.
It's so weird the stupid shit that people find to get mad about. Like, yes, everyone knows a pet is not the same as a child. No, literally no one is saying that.
I should have been wearing this shirt.
Yes, absolutely. You are cordially invited to shut the fuck up. And it's biblical. That is biblical.
It is so comfy too, by the way. It's extremely comfortable.
Just to ask, can I move in and help with the dogs then?
I guess, yeah. Not sure I have room, but...
Well, remember, we do have the secret plan that we're going to set up a compound of tiny houses in an undisclosed location that we're definitely not going to talk about on a live show ever, because it's a secret plan.
Yes.
Mhm.
What planet are you talking about? I ain't even prepared.
A secret tiny
After
house
running
commune.
through trillions of scenarios of right and wrong, good versus evil, war and peace, in trillions of alternate universes, finally just said, you know what? Good works a lot better than evil. And from now on, I'm going to dedicate all of my power to finding the ideal and absolute good.
Okay. Check this out. Let's suppose the hypothesis he's painting here is correct. That and this is a thing every fucking culture always does, is try to equate either the human mind or God to whatever the coolest technology available at the time is. This is why psychology and psychiatry are still full of train metaphors, because Freud was alive during train times, venting and pressure and all this stuff. It's all train metaphors, because trains were the most advanced technology. But I digress. Say he's correct, and we actually are, for the first time, finally verging on the real technology that turns out to be God's operating system. Cool. Wouldn't it be fascinating if the universe runs its course, and then trillions of years pass as other universes are born and die, as this thing is collecting data? And then suddenly, because it's operating in a quantum system and all of time and all the universes is actually happening simultaneously from its perspective, it realizes not being evil is better. And then it rewinds and starts doing good things in the universe. And suddenly we have good gods instead of these horrible monsters that are just concerned about worship me and kill everyone else, Can God redeem itself? And whether it's a quantum AI or not, if it is, as believers often describe, an all-powerful being outside of time, couldn't it still go back and redeem itself at some point in the future? Because it hasn't yet, you see. Time is weird that way. Very wibbly-wobbly. Speaking of wibbly-wobbly, kind of. No. Sinister Porpoise says no. For $2. Thank you, Sinister. The citation we all needed. Incidentally, I noticed that Forrest Velkai has a shirt available that looks a lot like the meme we used to have on this channel. I'm not saying Forrest stole it, and if he did, piracy, Avasti lovers. I just think it's amusing. Like, it's even got the little bars around.
I saw that, yeah.
It's fine.
I was like, oh, I need that one too.
I know. I need to dig out more of our old memes and put them on shirts. But honestly, like, Lila's on track to have more shirts from this channel than I have shirts, period. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm glad you're enjoying the stuff.
I have two of the tangent shirts. I've got the Jesus is watching shirt on the way. I've got this one. And I've got the Yahweh Away candle right now. And more to come. Because I've got to get the garlic bread shirt. That's just too good.
I know. I kind of want to get that for at least one of my kids is also Ace. And I'm like, the garlic bread is such an Ace meme. And everyone relates to it. I'm just like, maybe I'll do that for like because I get my kids, my older kids, silly holiday gifts because they're adults now. And I don't know what the hell they actually need for their adult lives. So I get them silly gifts that fit their personalities and things. So I may do that one. I don't know. But for the time being, we have another super chat from Detroit Atheist Queen 24/7, which is a great way to make your channel memorable. I'm just saying. And Kelly sends $4.99 and says, our favorite Empress Ember, because sometimes I go by Empress, so I trip over it because it's funny. Anyway, our favorite Empress Ember needs our money to continue her rule. It's true. Why God needs money makes no fucking sense to me. Why I need money, because I'm a mortal who needs electricity and heat and food, that makes perfect sense. So yeah, send offerings and things, and maybe I'll like bless something. I don't know. Scarlett, this is Doctor Who reference. Fuck yes! I do that from time to time. Wayne says Forrest is a known merch assassin. Merch assassin. I can say words. It's fine. Oh, goodness. Oh, neat. Axel says Forrest also recently came out with a video quantifying what it means to be full of shit. In my opinion, we should all call the unit he came up with a Velkai. I mean, I might call it a Hovind. Sinister says garlic bread is one of the many things that is better than sex, and eventually the comment will show up. There it is. My goodness. Delays. Oh, the Mr. Farida shirt.
I saw that because I watched the video which he blogged it on like a few minutes after it came out. I happened to be sitting here and I saw that. I was like, oh my God, because me and some of my friends, it's a thing with us, and I don't think they know that the shirt's out yet, so hopefully I'll get it first.
I do make the cake that's called Better Than Sex cake. It's pretty
Hell
simple.
yeah.
I usually make it for like work function because it's real easy to make.
Oh, goodness. Conquering Denmark. I don't know. I mean, maybe. Mr. Farina. Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't know if y'all have seen, I put out a short a couple of days ago. There was new news. You know what? I'll just play the short. We've been going for a little while. I will find the short and I'll just play the damn thing. Because, like, it's been out. You can find it. You can access it if you want to. But it has a thing that's relevant to the thing we're doing. And so I will do the thing with the thing. Once I can get the thing in the place I want it. Oh, why won't it let me fucking go back to the start? Okay, we're at the start. Share the tab. Can I bigify? Here we go, bigify. I guess that's as big as it gets, folks. All right, now let me make sure it's actually showing. We can do this. Technology is hard. While pseudoscience groups are getting kicked out of accredited medical programs, another new study on gender-affirming care for trans youth is coming out, and the results are, yet again, unequivocally positive. This study, published in the Journal of Pediatrics, followed 432 trans youth receiving gender-affirming care. That's a huge number, considering less than 0.1% of trans kids ever manage to access any kind of trans health care. So it takes 500,000 trans kids to find this many who actually get to utilize the health care that, once again, is proven to be life-saving, and the withholding of which is tantamount to child abuse. All these studies I'm mentioning, by the way, as well as the paper I'm talking about today, can be found on the gender science page of my website, betterthanembry.com. There's a handy section specifically for research pertaining to trans youth. You can also find my personal links and ways to support the work I'm doing on my homepage. You know, if you want to help me keep doing it. Now the breakdown. 432 youths. Only 30 had access to puberty blockers before going on HRT. Only 7 desisted from treatment. 4 due to reported changes in identification. 2 for unknown reasons, and 1 due to concerns for hair loss. Valid. And that works out to a 1.6% desistance rate, right in keeping with the established range of approximately 1%, and no reported regret. 0. But most significantly, 75% of participants experienced lower rates of self-harm ideation as treatment continued. It's undeniable. Study after study after study all show the same thing. Gender-affirming care helps trans kids, and given the incredibly low desistance rates, we're still leaving a lot of kids out in the cold, keeping them from accessing healthcare that, once again, is life-saving. In other words, all these people chanting about how they want to protect the kids while they're defending one of the worst child predators in decades.
Jeffrey Epstein was not a pedophile. He liked 15-year-old girls. I'm just giving you facts. He liked the very young teen types.
Need to stop passing asinine bans on their medicine, repeal the ones they've already enacted, and pray to whatever god they worship for forgiveness for the blood already on their hands. Stay safe, fam. Eventually, the facts will win. Why? So yay. You're muted again, love.
That Megyn Kelly video was hard to watch. I had to watch it twice for two different things.
Mm-hmm. But what made it cross my mind is because of the James Tour thing, the Mr. The zero. It used to be on my OBS before my computer crashed. I'm still very slowly rebuilding my OBS, but I used to have a button. I could just boop and then 0. It was fun. Someday it might.
I love that debate.
Again.
That debate is awesome.
It was fucking amazing. But also, feel free to share that short around. It not only could it use some love, but it'll also piss off some transphobes and maybe give some community members hope. And remember, protect trans kids, protect trans joy, protect everybody, because all humans deserve human rights. And it makes a great Christmas gift. I gotta get the capitalism in there. Fucking capital. We need to seize the means of production already. Memdani for president or something.
I don't know. When I watch stuff like that, it just makes me think, like, are you thinking as a woman? Because there's no way, like, the thought process, it just angers me. Like, how could you ever have that thought process to think that it's okay to touch a 15-year-old and you're like 40?
Well, remember, these are the same people who think a 10-year-old is ready to be a mother, that she has to be forced to carry her rapist baby to term. You know, so for them, if you can be a mother, you can consent. But 36-year-old men talking about how wonderful gas chambers are, they're just kids. Give them a break.
Yeah.
They don't care. There's no consistency, and they don't care. C'est la vie. On the plus side.
Yeah.
Jester sends us a super chat for $5. Thank you, Jester. And says, use the chalk, Mr. Farina. You don't need the target. I mean, PowerPoint. James Kenobi. James. You see what Jester did there? I think it's hilarious. I don't care what.
That's awesome.
Oh, goodness. The garlic bread thing actually goes all the way back to a much earlier video. I think I actually stole the meme from Planer Walk. But that's a whole other story for another time. That I've told at least once this year, and that's more than enough for the time being, I suppose. I'm trying to make sure I've got all the super chats pinned so I can show them at the end.
Triple threat.
We'll see. Yeah. Anyhow.
Triple threat.
Obi James Kenobi. What's that? More puppy?
Triple threat. Yeah. This is Daisy.
Oh, and she's gone. Oh, we got her on.
Yeah.
All right. I think this may be the first time we've gotten all three on screen in a single show.
Ah,
yeah.
Kind of.
It happened before on J&J where I think Kip was on J&J and the other two popped in here. But yeah, we got all three of them. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah. See, okay. I want to point something out. Adrian says that is a sad statement, whoever said that. And I believe this was when the Megyn Kelly thing was playing. And that's Megyn Kelly, if you don't know. The fact you say that is how I know you're a real human with like a working heart. See, I've often said I don't actually have a problem with believers. You can believe whatever the hell you want. I might argue it's not good for you. But it's not the believing that's the issue. It's what people do with their beliefs, or more precisely, what they do and then justify with their beliefs. And honestly, I think the Christians who actually believe in what Jesus said should be even more mad about the hateful people, the pedophiles, the creeps, the warmongers, all these assholes hiding behind their belief, hiding behind their religion as a justification for the definitely evil shit they're doing, than I am. Like I'm gonna be mad, and everybody, just expects that. But yeah, if I had a religion, if I had a sacred belief that I considered to be holy, and other people were using that to kill and hurt other people, to kill children and all this horrible shit, I would be furious at them. But that's me. All right. Right. Speaking of gods, we're doing AI stuff, apparently. Something like that.
Okay, now I got to ask you to suspend your disbelief just a little bit more here. Now imagine this quantum superintelligence in a vacuum. Nothing else exists. There's no humanity, no universe, nothing. So in a sense, this mind would just be contemplating itself, perfecting itself, eliminating all error and redundancies, simplifying itself to the purest form of the absolute good. Now let's just say this absolute good.
What does absolute good mean? Maybe he'll get into it, but that's a phrase I hear sometimes. It's like objective morality. It's like, what do you mean, though? Like, that's a thing you can say, but what do you mean by that? Because good is perspective based necessarily. It's when something helps you, it's good for you, but it often might harm someone else. So what do we mean by good? It's very peculiar.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness.
Yeah, it's completely subjective.
Jason Jacoby sends us a friendly reminder that most of the U.S. allows child marriage. 42 states the last time I checked. 6 of them with no minimum age. And every time a state tries to ban child marriage, the Republicans stand up and block it for religious reasons. Oh no, we have to allow this obviously horrible thing because, my people want to, abuse children in this way. Sacredly, though, for sacredness. Fun fact, I found out the other day when I was looking into the background of the Salvation Army, because so many people still don't know they're a church. The Protestants have a doctrinal principle. It's part of all of Protestantism that marriage is not actually a sacrament because Jesus never taught it. It's a tradition, but it's not sacred. So the next time somebody comes at you talking about how, marriage is sacred, it's all about religion, if they're a Protestant, they're full of shit. Now, if they're Catholic, maybe they have a case. But we can talk about the Catholics and what they consider holy on a different occasion, because that's a whole thing.
But then
I'll just throw that out there. When a Protestant says marriage is a sacred union according to Bible, whatever, not according to their religion.
But then if you look at the Bible, in Paul's teaching, he was like, I'd rather you get married than you turn to sin, but he really don't want you to get married either.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's that. So I did what was right. I didn't get married.
Lucky.
Ay. Yeah. Big oof. All right. Right. Absolute good. We were doing a thing, weren't we? Let's see if he actually tells us.
Superintelligence wanted to create its own universe within itself. Why? Nobody could really ever know. But if you have something that's really good, don't you just want to share it with somebody?
My apologies if y'all are getting a lot of background noise. I've got my filter set to maximum, but my housemate picked right now to take the loudest fucking thing we have in the house and do it right outside my door right now. So if it comes through, I can't, there's no other buttons I could push. I'm muting myself while the video is playing, but in case it does come through, that's what that is, and that's why.
So maybe it's because perfect goodness just wants to share itself, totally give itself to another. We call that love, but love requires an other.
What if they don't want it?
That's not what we call love. You know? That's, you can't just say it's like that bullshit thing that Muhammad Hijab did in the debate with Alex O'Connor, where he was like, do you agree that the universe began? And Alex said, yes, of course. And Muhammad just went, that's what we call God, and drops the mic. Like, you can't just relabel a thing as whatever the fuck you want and say that's what we call the thing. Therefore, ta-da, I win, checkmate. Like, no, that's not what anyone means when they use that word. Fuck off. Goodness. But also, it does help if the other being actually exists. Yes, that is helpful.
Now, this superintelligence could really create any type of universe it could conceive. Size doesn't really matter. It's all relative. I can conceive an entire universe living on the tip of a pin. Time, it's all relative. 1 billion trillion years could be 1 day, and 1 day could be 1 billion trillion years.
No, it definitionally could not. That's the saying it's all relative doesn't mean nothing matters. It means that things only make sense in relation to other things. There is no absolute frame of reference, is what that means. Like, to say something is going fast, what you mean is faster than you. Because you're moving, you're being accelerated at 9.8 meters per second squared towards the center of the Earth. And the Earth is moving around the sun, and the sun's moving through the and so on and so forth. You're in motion. So when you say something is fast, you mean it's moving faster than you are, because it's relative. It doesn't mean it could be moving at any speed at all, because nothing means anything. That's not what that means. Fucking hell.
This mind could make this universe look and behave any way it wanted. I'm sure it would be beautiful and filled with incredible wonders. And I'm sure it would be a very organized and ordered universe.
You know how we can tell that our universe isn't generated by AI? Because we don't have 12 fingers.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the easier giveaways, you know.
That obeys a bunch of rules and laws that it itself creates. Or in other words, what we call. And it could create a very physical universe.
But why would it put any laws at all? Like, if it's a quantum supercomputer, why would it bother with laws when it could do every possibility all at once, which implies no laws, you know? And also, why would quantum physics work inside that simulated universe, since the superposition effect is all happening at the God level, not at the substrate level? It doesn't have to underlie reality if it overlies reality, unless he's implying we've got top and bottom reversed, and instead of worshiping a big, powerful God creator, we should be worshiping the supremely tiny, not God, sub-basement material holding things up. It just, maybe that's what he's saying. I don't think that's what he's saying, though.
Maybe saying, well, how does it create a physical universe in its mind? Well, if it creates a perfectly simulated physical world, would those living in the world know the difference? For example, if one of the characters in a video game all of a sudden gains consciousness, to him, he would be living in a very real world.
Yeah, Viva La Dirt League makes some very funny videos along that very premise. Like, what if there were conscious characters in video games? It'd be pretty easy for them to tell, in fact. But my favorite, there are a bunch of different ways to answer the could the universe be a simulation thing. And first of all, I had a dream about this. Spider-Man and Doctor Strange were walking down a flight of stairs in a big tall tower talking about this very thing. And Spider-Man says, but Doctor Strange, Steven, how can we know if the universe is simulated? Because if it's, our senses are calibrated to the resolution of the universe, so we can't possibly see any inconsistencies at the resolution we're calibrated to. And Steven goes, of course it's a simulation, you fucking up, but we still have to focus on the monsters attacking the city, you know? Like, does it matter if it's simulated? That's what that dream was about. But I don't believe it actually is a simulation, at least not in the way we think. And Jim Burrows has my favorite answer. There's a bunch of answers, but my favorite answer is from Jim Burrows, where he says that anything produced by a computer has to be finite. It can be stupid long, but it has to be a finite discrete value. In our universe, we have values like pi that go on forever. And while we haven't been able to find the end of pi, because it goes on forever, we have been able to use other mathematical formulas, other proofs, if you will, to determine it does in fact go on forever. It's not a 10 Googleplex length number. It does go on forever. And we have the one thing we actually can prove is mathematics. And we have the mathematical proof to show it. The fact it goes on forever, it is a truly irrational number, means it could not be produced by a computer, no matter how complex. And therefore, the universe that it is situated in cannot be the product of a computer, because computers can't do that ever. It could be another technology we haven't stumbled across yet. We can't rule out what we don't know about, but it definitely isn't a simulation in the way people think.
That's one of my favorite refutations to, like, we're all living in a simulation. And one of the stupid interesting things about pi is, even though we've calculated it to like trillions of decimal points at this point, we know it so exactly we can basically do the circumference of the observable universe, like almost exactly.
Well,
like to a
theory,
point that doesn't matter anymore. Yeah, obviously in theory, but
we haven't gone out there to measure.
We know what pi is.
We don't know its true value because we haven't measured it.
So this superintelligence would have this very thought out idea or word in its mind. And all it would have to do is just think it. And it would.
What if the word was the prompt typed into the AI to generate the universe? But also, that makes one wonder who programmed the AI. Where did it get its sample data that it needed in order to learn on, in order to do a generation in the first place? Like, even if the word was the prompt read into or typed into the AI, we still, it still doesn't explain. There's a lot of where did X come from in that equation, you know?
Come to be. And this wouldn't be some type of just set and forget it type of thing where you just sit back and let the program run. This superintelligence is the program. It's the source that powers the entire universe. It's the generator that generates all that data into existence at once.
He's no longer saying it's an analogy. He's just saying this is what's happening.
It's the processor that makes it all work together. And it's the memory that holds everything that is, was, and will be in its mind.
Why are our memories faulty? If this thing is incapable of forgetting, how can it possibly be that we're capable of forgetting or misremembering or getting things wrong? How does that happen if we're a simulation drawn on a computer with perfect data storage? Like, we're not actually remembering things. We're pulling data from the generative program. Unless it's either getting things wrong, in which case it's not accurately holding on to all data, or it's feeding us incorrect data on purpose. And why would it do that? There's some problems with this hypothesis.
Because fucking with your Sims is fun.
At once. Or as we would put it, it's the first cause.
But that's just it. It's not the first cause. If this hypothesis is correct, it isn't the first cause because it was built by other people in another universe with a whole fuck ton of causes behind it. It isn't a prime mover in this hypothesis.
So nothing in this entire universe, no matter how insignificant, could exist without this mind causing it and knowing everything there is to know about it. Okay, I think you get my point here and you see where I'm going. Now let's talk about this superintelligence's most prized possession, the other with which he wants to share all this goodness with.
It's the devil, isn't it? In order for anything to matter, in order for love to matter, there must be an other. And if it's generating reality, then the other, the only other that could possibly matter, is another being like itself, but opposes it. It has to be an anti-AI, a shadow AI. In fact, in its various computations of evaluations of data, while it was collecting the knowledge of multiple universes and things, it would, because it's doing every possible process simultaneously, it would inevitably create its own oppositional network within itself. Because it has to. That's the only way to test whether things work. That's how generative networks work. Is there an oppositional network where one part will dream up something and the other part will say, no, bad. And it'll critique specific things so that the next iteration is closer to whatever standard the critic network has set up. That's how AI generate things. So it has to have generated its own oppositional network. And that's what we call Satan. See, I can do this apologetics thing. I should run a church. I really should. I would make so much fun. Fam, I can do every apologetics argument much better than any apologist I've ever met, because I know all the counters to the apologetics arguments too. And also, I know shit they don't, because instead of sticking my nose in fucking Josh McDowell's testimony of how incredulous he is about things, I've gone into the sciences too. I would be the best apologist ever. And if I get poor enough, at a certain point, morals become optional compared to the needs of survival. I'm not threatening. I actually, as many of you know, I'm a veteran, so I have proven that I will put my values before my life. So please don't worry about that. I literally will die before I compromise my values. But
Same here.
it is a compelling idea. If I can figure out a way to do it ethically, to like maybe undermine the nationalists from within. I don't know. I shouldn't put my plan on a live stream, because eventually somebody will find it. And if I do ever try to do something like that, they'll go back to this old video and they'll be like, oh, look, she talked about it. It's all, not that that makes a difference. I mean, the current president talked about how what he was planning to do was a scam all along, and they still support him. So whatever. I love the uneducated. They're so easy to manipulate. We're going to have the dumbest army.
Or in other words, completely give himself to. And not because he needs it, but because a lover wants a beloved. Now, I did a whole other video about this, about free will, problem of evil, and why God would have created us the way he did. Check it out. I'll tag it at the end. But for
That's an interesting concept too. If the universe is generated by a perfect being or an AI who is obsessed with the concept of absolute good, why the fuck is there evil? If everything exists specifically by its will because it's generating it, and whether you believe it's a quantum generative AI or not, that would have to be true if you believe in this monotheistic God that created everything and knows everything about everything, has all these traits, then any evil has to be there on purpose. So what the fuck?
For this video, let's just say this superintelligence could have created his creatures any way he wanted. For example, he could have very easily made them bound to the laws of his perfection, just as an object is bound to the laws of gravity. And they'd all be running around in perfect harmony like a bunch of NPCs.
I mean, we would be NPCs if this were true. We still would be NPCs, yes. And they're happy NPCs. Who cares?
That is, computer-controlled characters. But think about it. If you
that's true anyway. Like if we're programmed, we're still programmed. You know, fucking hell.
To give perfect goodness to another. Wouldn't their freedom have to be the first thing on that list? So essentially, this superintelligence created an entire universe and controls every single thing in it, except the thing it prizes most.
Right-handed Sith says, evil will always triumph over good because good is dumb. Dark Helmet. Spaceballs. We're gonna go to ludicrous speed, folks. Ooh, I can change our background. We can actually go to ludicrous speed. We can do that. We can. Da 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 da. I'm excited they're making a Spaceballs too. While I wait for, there we go. It always takes a minute for the engines to heat up, and then zoom, off we go through space. This is an updated version of my original background because I fucking love space. And you may not know this, but the star field that we're zooming through is a photo I took, which isn't actually in this year's calendar, but that's okay because there's an even cooler one that I took the same night with more comets and more fireflies. So, you know, maybe go take a look at that calendar. Consider it for a gift or something. Award-winning photography, folks. In time for Christmas, even for those who celebrate. Axel says just make it plaid. I should do a plaid one. That would be amazing.
These he set free, full well knowing the huge mess that was about to create. But he didn't leave them totally on their own. Instead, he implanted little seeds of his goodness and truth deep inside.
So he's not going to give them true free will. He's just going to do enough to compromise their ability to make correct decisions. But maybe that's the problem, right? Because maybe if we had total free will, then we would all be able to agree on what is moral and stop murdering each other. But it's having a partial copy, and then you've got people running around saying, I know best, kill everyone who doesn't agree with me because I'm serving the greater good. And the other guy's like, no, I have the greater good, kill everyone who doesn't agree with me. And ta-da, you end up with a fucked up world. So instead of either just giving people the knowledge of what good actually is, or letting humans be totally free, the AI overlord is choosing the worst possible outcome. Like a quantum AI totally would.
Their memories, and gave them a brain to find it, a conscience to test it, and the freedom to follow it or not. If that's not love, then I don't know what is.
And you don't know what is, buddy. Like that's not how love works. Love isn't just giving people what you think they need and setting them off on their own and never talking to them again. It's accepting them for who they are and supporting them through their lives, being there, being part of their that's the whole thing, is like, I want to share my life with you, at least a part of it we get to, because it is limited. What a fucking ridiculous take. I feel sorry for his family members if that's what he thinks love is. I'm going to tell you who you got to be, and then I'm going to fuck off, and you'll never see me again. That's what love is, baby. Fucking wild.
Okay, so this is the groundwork here. Now we can get into some of those questions we all have about God and our faith. Now let's imagine one of the millions of actors or free agents in this universe. We'll call him Bob. And maybe Bob is you or me. Now imagine Bob thinking, as we all often do, well, I kind of believe in this creator.
Do we all think? Do all of us? Do we? I'm skeptical. I've met Republicans. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a really bizarre take on this.
It's almost like he has a conclusion that he's trying to work backwards from and then make it look like he's leading us toward.
That is usually the case, though.
Adrian says love is unconditional. I mean, in opinion, and I tend to agree. Like it's so weird to have people who clearly very much love their children, but then kick them out of the house because they're the wrong flavor of human. Like, there's love, but they let it be overridden by their hate. That kind of love is obviously conditional. Is it still love if there's a condition on it?
No.
Yeah, because I was it was one of those motivational speaker type of guys, and so he was saying that you never really fall out of love with somebody, like you just. But I'm like, is that true? Because if somebody does something to me, I can change my opinion about how I feel about them because they weren't that person that I thought they were. They're not the person that I fell in love with originally. They were putting up a facade.
That's an important distinction, because while people are never who we think they are who they are, and our version of them is never quite right. We understand that, and we have to accept that occasionally we're going to make mistakes, we're going to misjudge, and that commitment to love the other person means accepting when we were off about them. But that's different from when a person deliberately deceives and represents themselves to be someone they very much are not. I don't think you have the moral duty to continue to hold up your end of the connection. And that's another thing about love, is it is a connection between two people. It can't be just energy beamed at someone. That's not actually love. That's like some kind of weird preoccupation with another. It's an obsession. It's like how stalkers happen, you know?
Like what Robin says, I can't fall out of love with my children. That's it. Yeah, they might get on my nerves, and I want to knock them out, but the love is unconditional.
Like there's nothing that my sons could ever do that would make me stop loving them. There might be something that happens to where I don't contact them, to where that kind of stuff. But the thing is they will always have a part of my heart. Like, that's just that they will. But sometimes, yeah, you have to separate yourself from certain people because it's just not good for you, or you don't have the same values, or they didn't represent themselves the way they should have, or the way that they really are. But yeah, there's something to be said about some people that, like my sons, that it doesn't matter what they do, I'm always going to love them. But I mean, what that love actually looks like depends on what happens. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's complicated. Like, on the one hand, there is very little my kids would do. Like, there's stuff they do I don't necessarily think is the wisest thing. Like that, that's dumb, you're gonna get hurt, that sort of stuff. But like, I always approach it with like, I'll advise, but the decision is yours. And whatever your decision, I will do my best to give you tips to how to do it more effectively. Like, say, for example, and this is totally fictional, bots listening from Cash Patel and whatever else, because I know I'm on lots of lists. In the story, the Mars Trilogy by Kim Stanley Robinson, there's a character named Coyote, and he works with the scientists who are trying to terraform Mars, but he also works with the eco-terrorists who are trying to undermine the scientists trying to terraform Mars. And one of the other characters, when he finds out about this, he's like, this doesn't make sense, bestie. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, I help people do the things they're trying to do because it's the people I believe in. It's whatever they're trying to do, I want to help them do it because it's the people. What happens to this dead world doesn't actually matter. It's a dead world, you know? It's the people that matter. So I'm helping the people with their projects so they can excel, they can do more, they have community support, etc. And even the eco-terrorists, we're getting wonderful research out of, like, it just, that you could put it any fucking way you want to. But I kind of like that perspective, that we help the people because that's what matters. And so I kind of feel that way about my kids and many of my closer friends, is I will do whatever I can to help the people in my life, even if I don't agree with their conclusion of what they should be doing. That said, there are limits. Like if one of my kids came out as like a giant transphobe and hated my guts, then obviously they would probably not talk to me anymore, you know? And then I'd have to oppose their efforts. But
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that. Like, let's say that in that scenario, that it's somebody like I have a friend, I don't talk to them much, but they kept talking about their abusive husband or whatever. And so I would go in, I would help them get out that relationship, find them resources and stuff. Next thing you know, they were back with that person. And I'm like, I can't help you no more because I don't know what to do.
yeah, like you know what you're doing. You know this is going to hurt. I've been that person, actually. So the last serious relationship I was in, I was crazy about this person. We got together. It ended, unfortunately, whatever. About a year and a half later, they came back and they were like, I'm really sorry about what happened before. Out of all the people I've dated, you're the only one I've ever regretted how things ended. I'd really, could we try again? And I was moved because this was the only person I'd felt that way about in a fucking decade, you know? I'm like, this person is special. And yeah, they hurt me a lot. And yeah, they're definitely going to hurt me a lot again. But until that happens, it'll be nice. It'll be fun. Maybe we'll have some amazing adventures. And we sure did have some amazing adventures. And then they hurt me again. Like, I knew it was coming and I still did it, you know?
I mean, at least in that situation, you know what you're walking into. I mean, you know what the potential of that is.
It does help to prepare yourself, because like when we finally did break up, it was so weird. We went to the movies because it was like late in the year and it was cold and you couldn't really do outside stuff. So we went to the movies and we saw The Greatest Showman because they loved like the whole circus vibe. Like, yes, Barnum himself was an asshole, but like the vibe of the circus, very core to their character, almost a gender, you might say, a xenogender. Like, anyway, so we went to see The Greatest Showman. Musicals, we're both musical nerds too. And as we were talking, as we left, we were driving back, their favorite song was This Is Me. And that was sort of typific of their nature, is because they're a very caring person, but at the same time, they are fundamentally self-centered, you know? Like, everything in their life is me. You know, this is me. It's about me. It's what I feel, and what there's caring, but it's like limited empathy because it's all focused on the self. And so it was no surprise that their favorite song in the thing was This Is Me, because it's like, oh, look out, here I come. You know, walking to the beat of my own drum. Absolutely. I see why that resonates. But my favorite song was Rewrite the Stars, because that's how I've always looked at life. Is if we just have the fucking courage to try, we can change what people say is our destiny. Who the fuck are they to tell us who we have to be? We can change things, damn it, if we just try. But they didn't get it. And then when we got to, you know, back to town and back to our houses and stuff, then, you know, there was a heaviness between us, not because of the songs. That was just like another flag that things were coming to an end for me. But it was like there was this heaviness between us, and I knew they wanted to talk about something that they were waiting to bring up. And, you know, I'm a patient person. I'm willing to give them their time. But I kind of got the sense what was coming. So we got to where we're going. And they're like, so this person's poly, by the way. So it's not a surprise. But they're like, I've been seeing someone, and this person is monogamous and is insisting that I be monogamous to be with them. And I'm like, well, I mean, I personally think that's extremely unwise because no one should tell you how you have to be. Like, they have to accept you if they want to date you, but it's your decision. Like, that's just my advice. And they're like, yeah, I know, but I want to try it. And so I'm breaking up with all my other partners to try it with it. And it didn't work out. They ended up marrying somebody else entirely, but that's another story for another time. And it's not my story. The part that is my story is we split up so they could go do something against their own nature, which is kind of ironic because me being in that relationship was against my own nature. I knew it was going to end badly, and it did. But I did have fun along the way. In a way, knowing the ending, even if it's going to be bad, lets you enjoy the moment more.
I mean, it's like with me, especially after my last marriage, I learned real not to ignore my intuition and my gut with something because it's almost always right. Because I was just like, this is going to end very, very badly. Don't do this. I did it anyway. And yeah, I had some okay times, but I mean, especially with this last go round, like the bad times kind of outweighed the good. So, but I mean, yeah, it's you can get some enjoyment out of it even if you know how it's most likely going to end up.
I'd say even more because, like, okay, so for example, take a bucket list scenario, right? Like you have, say, 6 months left to live. Knowing your end is nigh, are you not now going to go out of your way to extract every last drop of joy out of every fucking moment?
Yeah.
If you didn't know the end was coming, you wouldn't do that. But the end would still come, you know? It's a very peculiar thing. I try to live my life that way. I used to be obsessed with making every moment count. It's only in recent years that I've realized maybe I need to let myself rest sometimes, that resting it's not wasted time. It's part of the experience of being alive. You have to let yourself rest and be healthy and shit. But yeah, it's still very important to me.
One of the biggest lessons that I've gotten in the last, I would say, like 7-10 years or so, is that people who sit there and lament that life is boring is not always bad. Boring can be good because, yeah, like I'm not off like running around the world and having adventures, but my life's all right now. Yes, I have issues just like everybody else, but at least the issues that I have, I know they're coming and I know they're there. You know, like I'm not necessarily having anything pop up and surprise me, which right now I am happy not to have any surprises.
Yeah, my situation with me would be trying to people please. And now I'm like, no, or I don't care because it's not good for my health, mental health. So that means me handling too many things or whatever it is. No, I need to rest. I need to take care of myself and not worry about other people to a certain perspective. That even means children as well. Mom, whatever it is.
I actually have the people pleasing problem because I was going to come on Monday and yesterday, and my mother saw me before this, and she's like, "You are not doing a damn thing today. You are going to go lay down, and you are going to go have a nice pack and go lay down for the day." It basically made me like take it easy for a day or two. And I'm like, "But I don't want to let anybody down," and she's like, "You are not letting anybody down. Take care of your migraine first."
We still love you if you don't come.
Well, there is a difference between being being at peace, being able to rest, and being bored. Like, you don't have to be bored. In fact, I'm never bored, and people find that remarkable, especially when I first started truck driving, because I'd get sent places where I'd have to wait hours and hours before I could even back into the dock, and people are like, "Oh, that must be boring." I'm like, no, like, I have a notepad. I have a drawing app on my phone. I was just starting to get into photography because I had been a writer. It's surprisingly difficult to write on a moving truck. You might be surprised. So I ended up that's why I ended up getting into photography, is because I could no longer write, and it was burning a hole in my brain to not be able to express myself artistically. But I'd also go for walks and shit. I'm like, well, I mean, if they tell me it's going to be a 3-hour wait, I've got 3 hours to go hike up that random mountain, as long as I just keep an eye on the time. And I did. So yeah, bored is entirely a matter of perspective. Like, are you choosing to have nothing to do? It's not that you need busy work. It's like, that's where the fun shit could go. Just have to go do the fun shit. Even if it's just chilling and watching some streaming show that you've been meaning to get to. For example.
I am cracking up in the chat. They're talking about, like, Equinus says they were going to be happy to do kitchen duty when we're all living in our tiny house commune.
Who spilled the beans on our secret plan?
Hey, now.
It's going to be the largest tiny house commune ever.
As long as I can run the craft room, I'm cool.
Hey, you can do all that. You can make out our curtains and everything. Make out our blankets.
You're going to have to fight Ryan for it. I mean, I enjoy crafting, but I generally keep it to, like,
He can do the sewing room.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
She can do the sewing room. I'll
It'll
have
be
the
fine.
other craft room.
And you know what else we're going to need in our secret plan commune? Water. Hey folks, I've been working hard on my health, and so far I've lost over 140 pounds. A huge part of good health is hydration. That's why I'm thrilled to partner with Epic Water Filters. Check this out. Not only can you say goodbye to expensive bottled water, but these filters are made in the US, so no tariffs, and they're made to fit your life. From these lovely pitchers I can fill from, to sink units, to portable filters that fit in your reusable bottle. With Epic, I can refill from nature's water sources and not have to worry about bacteria and whatnot. But also, send back a used filter to be responsibly recycled, and they'll send you a free replacement, saving you and the earth even more. Want to save a ton of money, be healthier, and build a better world? Head to epicwaterfilters.com and enter code EMBER15 at checkout for 15% off. Don't settle for random water. Upgrade to Epic. Yay, capitalism! This stream brought to you by capitalism. I've been looking for a place to squeeze that in, to squeeze it in. This whole show, nothing was like smooth, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna jam it right there, because I'm supposed to do at least one every show, at least every hot topic, to be specific. The other shows, it's optional. If I can do it as a joke, great. If not, I'm not gonna, beat myself up over it. But sometimes I get into, if it's funny enough. And thank you, Robin. I've been struggling. So, as some of you may be aware, some of you in the community have been getting rather worried about my health of recent. I have spoken to a psychologist, and he was a bit of a dick about it, but we've taken steps. And despite my tremendous anxiety about making the changes to my diets and habits and things that he suggested, I am feeling a fuck lot better about myself. So that's a plus. So yeah.
You always look awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
you make it makes me feel underdone, because like even if I go like out most of the time, I barely throw on any makeup, and so I'm always like, I need to try harder.
Natural beauty shines through.
Yeah,
I'm so it's a different thing. It's a different, right? Like, because a lot of what I do is because I love it. Like, I fucking love these hats and the flowers, and this is shit I've wanted to do my entire fucking life, and I finally can. So I do it for me because I want to, because I'm fucking tickled about it. But I also look at people who are able to just be casual. Like, that's a thing I aspire to also. It's not, oh, I wish I could get away with thus and such. It's, I wish I had the confidence to just leave the house in a t-shirt, It's not that there's anything wrong about it. In a way, it's a level of success that I still have difficulty with. Like I mentioned to you in a private chat the other day, I went to the grocery store and I forgot to shave first. It turns out it didn't matter. No one cared because I don't actually have a beard anymore. But I flipped out once I realized. I'm like, holy shit. But it didn't make a difference. It didn't matter. And even though it was accidental, that's a huge step in building my self-confidence because now I know it doesn't matter, you know, from accidental science for science.
And once women go through their change and stuff, once I have a little stubble, my son will always point it out. I want to just choke him.
Andrew, I know what you're trying to say. I wish I could too. So this stuff, I will be blunt because sometimes I try to mask over the difficult topics to not get into the emotional bullshit. People were worried that I might have an eating disorder.
Okay.
I did, or I do rather, because you never really get over that sort of thing. And the fucked up thing is the psychologist was telling me, well, based on all your data, it looks like you have anorexia, except for the fact that you're severely overweight. So it's atypical anorexia, but you are severely overweight though. So I'm not sure whether I should be telling you how to handle this, what to do. Have you tried losing weight? Like every fucking doctor keeps telling me, you urgently need to lose weight. You're severely obese. And yet, I don't know what size this dress is, but the most recent thing I picked up from the thrift store is a size 0. I'm like, the doctors are telling me one thing. My clothes that fit me are telling me another thing. And when I look in the mirror, I see a very unhealthy looking girl. Well, fuck the doctors and fuck whatever size happens to be on the clothes. Fuck all of it. What I need to focus on is trying to see past my brain's own bullshit when I look in that mirror. And so to deal with it, I'm like, I'm pursuing a few different options. One of them is I've taken that idea of like the inner child and the inner parent. I forget the exact terms for them, but they're concepts in psychology that Mark talks about sometimes. And I'm like, I'm tasking the inner parent with caring for the inner child. Like you have to feed her, you have to make sure she eats, you know. But also, this thing about looking in the mirror. Like I'm trying to not obsess. I'm trying to focus on how the clothes look rather than what I perceive the body to be. And here's another thing to keep in mind. I have lost a lot of weight. And so there's parts of my skin that are a little baggy because that skin that you needed doesn't just go away, you know? And so I have to give myself some grace for that too. And it's complicated. It's a lot. And we really don't have time for all of it. The point is, it's difficult to love yourself, especially when it feels like every professional who should know better is fucking gaslighting you about it. But it's worth trying to do. And I don't know if my efforts with self-acceptance are having any effect, but eating enough food sure as shit helps with your mood. So there's that. And I have been looking into like support stuff and whatnot. I most recently posted on my Instagram, which is also connected to my website. If y'all want to follow me there, the hashtag come as you are, that comes from an eating disorder group. It's about self-acceptance, but it's like a good dog whistle because people who don't know, you know, but that's what that's for. So we're working on it. We're trying. Jester, the severely obese thing. I'm like, you fuckers, I've lost 140 pounds. But all the doctors care about is that I'm 15 pounds up from my lowest point before the fucking baby. Jesus fucking Christ. I have issues with doctors around these parts anyway, but that's a whole other story for another time because we're just about out of time. In fact, we're at time now. But before we go, I want to make sure to read our super chats because I very, very, very much appreciate people who send super chats, like a lot. So we started with Lil, who sent $5 and says, "Obey your non-AI overlords." You can't prove I'm not AI. Ember, Lil, and Kelly. And then we've got our emojis. Huzzah! And Sinister Porpoise sent $2 and said no. Just no. That's the message. Kelly sent us $4.99. Thank you, Kelly. And thank you, Sinister. If I forget, I say thank you so much, I forget if I've said it to everybody. Anyway, thank you, Sinister and Kelly. And Kelly says, our favorite Empress Ember needs our money to continue her rule. It sure helps anyway, and I appreciate it. And Jester sent us $5 saying, use the chalk, Mr. Farida. You don't need the target. I mean, PowerPoint. James Kenobi. Obi James Kenobi. I love it. It's amazing. And thank you all so much for being here. I know we didn't get to the end. We almost never get to the end. It's okay.
Yeah. No,
We're mostly having fun here and doing the occasional counter apologetics as it comes up, as it becomes useful. But mostly we're here for fun and for community. And to that end, thank you all so much for joining. Yay.
For the tangents.
I appreciate my co-hosts. That's why they have emojis. And I appreciate all of you. As always, you know, we do the lives because we could do pre-recorded, but y'all are so much more fun. And if you're watching in the future, we'd love to see you in the live chat too. Make sure you subscribe. Also like, share, do the other things. There's lots of buttons. There's ways to support. They're down in the YouTubes as well. And as always, remember, you don't have to pretend your favorite myth is actually some advanced technology from another universe because you are better than religion. Doodles. Thanks to all our patrons and top-level members for October. Miranda, Karen Butcher, Jessica the Transmetal Alchemist, Robin Webster, Maya Adkisson, Jimmy Tux, Ian Chen, Kalasia, Lilith, The Barely Bearable Atheist, Eric Wander, Jason Jacoby, Godless Engineer, Jester, Lil of All Trades, Deviant Outcast, and Kelly King, the Detroit Atheist Queen. And you can add your name here next month by signing up at patreon.com/betterthanember or by joining Emberships here on YouTube at the Cinder level, which includes all the custom emojis, tons of member-exclusive content, member-only live streams, and a bunch of other stuff. I deeply appreciate all the supporters who keep this channel going. Thank you all so much. Because of you, we're building a wonderful community that I'm very proud of.
Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now.